listening to The Scintilla Effect, the podcast dedicated to finding that one tiny spark of potential within you and fanning it into a fire of real-world influence. Hello, and welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Mark Taylor. Have you ever felt like you're on a self-help hamster wheel? You read the books, you listen to the podcast, you buy the courses. You are consuming all this incredible information. Your mind is buzzing with ideas, but when you look at your life, not much has actually changed. You feel like you have all this knowledge, but it's trapped inside. You're spinning your wheels, working so hard, but going nowhere. If that sounds even remotely familiar, I want you to take a deep breath. You're in the right place, and you're not alone. That feeling being stuck, of being a self-help junkie without the real-world results, is an epidemic among ambitious, intelligent people just like you. Today, we're not just going to talk about that feeling. We're going to dismantle the hamster wheel, piece by piece, and build you a clear path forward. My name is Mark Taylor, and for the last 12 years, my entire world has revolved around one question: what truly separates those who struggle from those who succeed with authenticity? As an influence strategist and behavioral coach, I've had the privilege of working with entrepreneurs building empires from their kitchen tables. But my real education has come from decoding the patterns of human potential in the real world. I'm here to be your guide, to cut through the noise and give you the frameworks that actually create lasting change. All right, let's get into it. A few years ago, I had two clients who perfectly represent the two sides of this self-help coin. Let's call them Sarah and Dave. Sarah was a brilliant marketing director, incredibly smart. She read 2 business books per week, could quote every major thought leader. Her mind was an absolute fortress of knowledge. But when she walked into a high-stakes client meeting, something would happen. Her voice would get quiet. She'd hesitate. You could almost see her brilliant ideas getting stuck somewhere between her brain and her mouth. And inevitably, the loudest, less qualified person in the room will get all the credit. Then there was Dave. Dave was a self-proclaimed self-improvement addict. He had a course for everything, but his career had stalled. He told me, "Mark, I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, but I'm exhausted by the endless pressure to improve." The very thing that was supposed to empower him was making him feel fundamentally broken. Sarah and Dave are not unique. They were both caught in what I call the self-help trap. It's a trap built on a flawed premise that if you just cram enough information into your head, your life will magically change. The second flaw is the word itself, self-improvement. It implies there's something wrong with you that needs fixing. It starts from a place of deficit. It's an exhausting race with no finish line, and it's the fast track to burnout and self-criticism. The paradigm shift, the scintilla that changes everything, is moving from self-improvement to self-development. You see, improvement is about fixing flaws. Development is about building on strengths. Improvement is about adding more information. Development is about applying what you know. Improvement starts from the outside in. Development starts from the inside out. And that journey from the inside out always begins with phase 1 of what I call the authentic influence blueprint, temperament. This is your core wiring. It's understanding who you are before you try to decide who you want to become. Are you a lion or are you a wolf? Both are powerful predators, but they hunt very differently. So many of my clients, like Sarah, were trying to be the extroverted roaring lion they saw on stage, when their true power was in being the strategic, analytical, and silently powerful wolf. The first step off the hamster wheel isn't to learn a new tactic. It's to get radically honest about who you are and how you're uniquely wired to make an impact. It's about giving yourself permission to stop trying to be a bad copy of someone else and starting to become a brilliant original of yourself. And once you have that clarity, you can start building. And now, a word from our sponsors. Speaking of clarity, getting out of your own head can feel impossible sometimes, can't it? The mental noise, the self-doubt, the endless to-do list, it can be overwhelming. The first step to understanding your temperament is finding a moment of quiet. It's about creating a space where you can actually hear yourself think. That's why I've created this 5-minute guided audio meditation called the Clarity Catalyst. It's designed specifically for busy professionals to help you cut through the mental clutter, ground yourself in the present moment, and connect with your authentic inner voice. It's a powerful tool you can use anytime you feel overwhelmed and need to reset. Stop letting the noise run your life. Find your focus. You can get instant access at mtipodcast.blogspot.com. That's mtipodcast.blogspot.com. And we're back. So you've committed to getting off the hamster wheel. You've decided to start your journey from the inside out by understanding your unique temperament. Fantastic. But a blueprint is worthless without a strong foundation. And this is where my client Sarah was getting it all wrong. She was trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand. This is where we introduce the 3 pillars of power: the mental, the physical, and the emotional. Sarah was a champion of the mental pillar. Books, podcasts, seminars. She was an intellectual heavyweight. But she was neglecting the other 2, and it was sabotaging her success. Her physical pillar was crumbling. She was running on 5 hours of sleep, a gallon of coffee, and takeout for lunch. Your brain is a physical organ. Your presence, your energy, your charisma, it all runs on the fuel you give your body. You cannot project confident, influential energy when your body is in a state of chronic stress. It's like trying to host an amazing party in a house that's on fire. It just doesn't work. Her first assignment wasn't to read a new book. It was to get 8 hours of sleep for a week straight. The change was immediate and profound. Then there was her emotional pillar. This is your inner world, your resilience, your ability to manage your state when the pressure is on. Because she'd never worked on this, the slightest pushback from a client would send her into an insecurity spiral. She didn't have the emotional foundation to support her intellectual brilliance. Her ideas were sound, but her inner state was shaky, and people can feel that. They sense a lack of conviction, and they lose trust. True, sustainable development isn't about becoming a genius. It's about becoming whole. It's about creating balance across these 3 pillars. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you don't have the physical energy to deliver them and the emotional resilience to stand by them, they will die in the vine. So, I want you to ask yourself right now, which of these pillars is getting the most attention, and which one is being neglected? That imbalance is almost certainly the source of your frustration. And now, more from our sponsor. Building this foundation on your own can be tough. It's easy to get lost or fall back into old habits. That's the power of community. It's all about having people in your corner who get it, who hold you accountable, and who are on the same path. If you're tired of trying to figure this out all alone, I want to personally invite you to join the Influential Professional, a framework for social mastery group. It's my private online community for professionals who are serious about building their authentic influence. You can get access to a library of exclusive resources and a support network of peers from around the world. It's the accountability and connection you need to turn these ideas into your reality. The investment is just your time and energy. Surround yourself with people who will fan your spark. Learn more and join us today. The link is in the description. Okay, so we know the problems of the self-help hamster wheel. The solution is self-development, which starts with knowing your temperament and is built on the 3 balanced pillars of mental, physical, and emotional health. Now for the final, most crucial piece of the puzzle. How do we actually move forward? How do we build momentum without getting overwhelmed? The answer lies in understanding the difference between your comfort zone, your panic zone, and the magical space in between, the growth zone. Your comfort zone is where you live now. It's safe, but nothing grows there. Your panic zone is where you go when you take on too much too fast, like deciding to give a 60-minute keynote when you're terrified of public speaking. In the panic zone, your brain shuts down learning and goes into pure survival mode. The growth zone is that sweet spot. It's a 5% stretch. It's challenging, but not terrifying. For my client Dave, who was afraid of speaking up, his first step wasn't a huge presentation. It was simply to be the first person to ask a clarifying question in his next team meeting. His heart was pounding, but he did it. He lived, and in that moment, he built a new neural pathway. He expanded his comfort zone by an inch. He was building his courage muscle. This is how you move from knowledge to application, by taking small, intentional, and slightly scary steps. But action alone is not enough. This is the part almost everyone misses. Experience is not the best teacher. Reflected upon experience is the best teacher. At the end of each week, or even each day, you need a simple ritual to turn your actions into wisdom. Without it, you're just busy. With it, you're growing. And here it is. It's 4 simple questions. Question number 1. What went well? You must celebrate your wins, no matter how small. This trains your brain to look for success. Question number 2. What was challenging? This isn't about what you did wrong. It's about collecting data. I felt resistance when I had to give that feedback. Okay, that's just data. No judgment. Question number 3. What did I learn from that? This is where you find the lesson in the data. I learned that I needed to prepare my opening line before a tough conversation. Question 4. What will I do differently next time? This turns the lesson into a plan. It closes the loop and ensures you're not just repeating the same mistakes. This cycle, awareness, intentional action in the growth zone, and structured reflection is the engine of real self-development. It takes you off the hamster wheel of consumption and puts you on the path of conscious creation. You stop being a passive consumer of self-help and become the active architect of your own life. That is authentic influence. So, there you have it. The path is clear. Stop trying to improve a version of what you think is broken. Start with the powerful, unique person you already are. Build a balanced foundation across your mental, physical, and emotional worlds. Take small, courageous steps into your growth zone, and then, most importantly, take the time to reflect and learn from your journey. Your call to action this week is not to read another chapter or listen to another podcast. It's to choose one thing. What is one small 5% stretch you can take this week to expand your comfort zone? And this Friday, take 10 minutes to ask yourself those 4 reflection questions. That's it. Stop reading the map and start taking the first step. That's all the time we have for this episode of The Scintilla Effect. Thank you for lending me your time and attention. For a full list of all the podcast episodes, Mark Taylor International News articles, and last week's frequently asked questions, head over to marktaylorint.blogspot.com. If you found this valuable today, the greatest compliment you can give is to share it with one friend, colleague, or family member who needs to hear this message. Help them get off their hamster wheel too. I'm your host, Mark Taylor. Go out there and be authentically, powerfully you. Go find your spot. Production and editing by MTI Studios. And now a memo from the legal department. The information provided in the Scintilla Effect podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It does not constitute a substitute for professional advice from a qualified expert in a relevant field. The views and opinions expressed by me, Mark Taylor, are my own. Any action you take based on the information presented in this podcast is strictly at your own risk, and the podcast and its host are not liable for the accuracy or completeness of the information provided. This podcast may feature sponsored content or affiliate links, and compensation may be received from these relationships. This disclaimer should be considered alongside the full terms and conditions available at marktaylorint.blogspot.com by sending an email and typing the word disclaimer in the comments section.